Here.
But I'm so sorry.
Commissioner Garza,
Here.
Commissioner Clark Coleman, Commissioner Colleen, Chair Clemente,
Here.
you have a quorum present.
Thank you. Next item, please.
B, Chairwoman's remarks.
I have none. Next, please.
C, approve the March 13th, 2024 meeting minutes.
Can I please have a motion? Second. We have a motion from Commissioner Clean, second from Commissioner Garza. Please vote.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next item.
D, unfinished business. There is none listed.
Thank you. And at this time, we are going to move to number 4 on our agenda. Madam Clerk, can you please read this?
Item 4, forwarding a resolution adopted on March 14th, 2024, supporting efforts to reduce homelessness across Wayne County by increasing funding for emergency shelters and the capacity for affordable housing units, and condemning discrimination of housing vouchers as a form of payment.
Thank you. So do we have to approve this and then go to commission? Okay, so we are going, I'm going to ask to get a motion in a second. Thank you for this. That was made by Commissioner Clean and supported by Commissioner Garza. Could we please vote? Oh, wait, sorry, we need discussion on this. Is anyone, I'm sorry, Commissioner Dobb, would you like to discuss this? I'm sorry.
What meeting are you running here? Thank you, Madam Chair. So this resolution comes out of the Wayne County Women's Commission. We put this together to raise awareness about the issue of homelessness as it affects women in particular. Women and children represent one of the fastest growing populations of unhoused groups in the U.S. due to factors such as rent and income disparities, domestic violence, and gender inequalities. Women who experience homelessness face higher rates of psychological, physical, and sexual violence, and children experiencing homelessness tend to have poorer health and higher rates of health conditions than low-income and housed peers. The Wayne County Women's Commission recently did a community service project at Samaritas Family Shelter in Westland, and we did some. We created some vision boards with the women who are staying there. Had some good conversations with them, and we know that there are wait lists on every homeless shelter in the state right now, and there are very limited number of family shelters where families can stay together, and particularly women with their children. So we're just doing this resolution to raise awareness of this issue, calling on increased funding for emergency shelters and the capacity for affordable housing units, and condemning the practice of housing vouchers as a form of payment, because the housing vouchers, there's a long wait time to get those, and then it's difficult to find a landlord that will accept those as a form of payment. So this is our resolution, and we wanted to present it to the committee.
Thank you, Commissioner Dobb, and really appreciate all the work that you and the Women's Commission have done on this and bringing this before this. And commissioners, do we have any questions for Commissioner Dobb?
Yeah,
Commissioner Clark-Coleman?
sure. So the vouchers, where do they get the vouchers from?
I think those come from the state of Michigan.
And they're given out
Yeah.
through places like Wayne.
Department of Do you know which department they come from? Health and Human Services? Commissioner Knizek, do you know? No, he doesn't know.
I believe that's something we can check into to make sure exactly where they're coming from, but there is I know that I
I
hear
do
a
get
lot.
I am
Mhm.
contacted by people who have been evicted. And the only place that I know to refer them to is Wayne Metro. So if there's someplace else where they can get vouchers or pay their rent, I'd like to know.
I think
So it's-
Metro helps get
Stuff.
people connected to the state where they would get those vouchers from. I think that's their purpose.
And I think post-COVID, there's a lot of people that they're having trouble with rent for sure and
Right.
finding places.
Right.
That's the biggest, and having landlords accept those vouchers. So it is something that we need to bring awareness to and work on. And I think we'll find a better, before full board, exactly how that takes place.
Yeah, I we certainly need to make people more aware of how you get help from, and I know that we have a small shelter in Westland. Is it Westland?
Yeah, Samantha.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Out Michigan there.
but it's so it's for families, right? Or is it for women?
Yes, it's for families.
For families. But other than that, I don't know of any that would be strictly dedicated to families, and that's kind of what they
It's so
need. They don't need these shelters that they walk into, and they're not very nice.
Thank you. Does anyone have any other questions? All right, can we take a vote, please? Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Knizek.
I'm so sorry, Madam
No,
Chair.
no, I'm sorry, I missed you.
No,
Go
my
ahead.
hand was like hiding down here. I couldn't find, it doesn't mean it's not there, but I couldn't find the actual language that the Women's Commission had passed. So just after this, could we have that sent around too?
There was an email sent out yesterday, and yes, it's now in the.
In the contract
Yes.
package?
Mhm.
Maybe I'm looking at an old email then.
I can pass this
I'll
down to him.
email it to you.
Here's one.
Here's,
You need to read that before we take a vote. Okay, so we're going to vote on this unless you have other questions, Commissioner Knizek. No, okay. All right. Vote please.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, can we go back to number 1, please, Madam Clerk?
Item 1 under new business, forwarding a Personnel Human Resources Department report on the progress of hiring initiatives and retention policies in light of the COVID-19 pandemic in coordination with other departments and elected officials to ensure focus on building the Wayne County talent pool.
So this is going to be a receive and file item. Does anyone have any questions on this? Okay, we're going to take 1 and 2 together. If you could go on to number 2, please.
Item 2, forwarding a Wayne County Connect 43 Steering Committee monthly meeting report.
Is there someone on the line from Connect 43?
Yeah, hi, this is Mike Jameson, Connect 43 Project Director on the line.
You can come to the table, please.
And then my colleague can introduce herself.
Just press the button just once and introduce yourself, please.
All right. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'm Shell Chandler, Project Coordinator for Connect 43 for the ERP Wave.
All right. Can you give us a brief update on what's going on with Connect 43, please?
Yeah, this is Mike. I'll take it from here. So overall, for the report that we had 3 of the 4 major waves active, with the big one, HCM being essentially 93% complete. There's a lot of work in that remaining 7%. At the time, we were finishing up our second round of conversion for preparation of our user acceptance testing, which is kicking off on April 11th. We've actually started subsequently to that parallel payroll testing. So those 2 are the last remaining major steps aside from training that lead up to the production cutover where we actually go from the non-production environment that we've been working in to being live on the system, at the end of June and the beginning of July. With our ERP, we had just finished what we call our wall walk sessions, which is really where we just start the initial discussions of getting the Wayne County folks familiar with how Oracle works across the various modules within ERP. And ERP is our financial management system. So that's like the general ledger, accounts receivable, accounts payable. And then we were starting to get our familiarization sessions scheduled. Those are kind of the steps 1 and steps 2 of the design process. And so that along with kind of data cleansing and a chart of accounts working group, making sure that the chart of accounts is good for both ERP, and then I'll segue into EPM, which is our budgetary planning module. Just continuing the architectural setups as well as working through things like position control and position budgeting that kind of has a hand in both HCM and ERP in addition to EPM. And so all systems go. We actually started the automated data warehouse at the end of the month. It just wasn't reflected in this program, but as of right now, all 4 waves are active. HCM is set for a late June, early July go live, and everything is on track. So, any questions?
So the time frame that you said is on track, correct?
Correct.
Okay, very good. Does anyone have any questions? Very good. We have a motion from Commissioner Garza. Can I have a second, please? And let's take a vote for items 1 and 2. Thank you.
Thank you so
Motion
much.
carried.
Thank you. Next item, please, Madam Clerk.
Item 3, requesting commission approval of Amendment 3 to a comparable source contract with AT&T Corp. to extend the IP Flex Circuit service at Fort Michigan Department of Corrections probation offices.
Is there someone to speak on this item? Good afternoon.
Hello, Cheryl Reuter from Information Technology.
Ryan Hayes, Division Director for Computing and Infrastructure.
Oh, you need to press your button, please.
Ryan Hayes, Division Director for Computing and Infrastructure.
And what exactly is happening with this IP Flex Circuits services?
So these are circuits that the Department of Correction probation offices use for their phone systems.
And why are we still using this with the probation office and not?
The probation offices are kind of unique. They utilize the state's data network, but Wayne County is required to provide them phone service. So we have to put in an internet circuit there that they use to transport their phones.
Okay. And is there any time that that's going to be phased out, or but it always has to be that way?
It's my understanding that there's an old statute that says that Wayne County has to provide phone service and I think printer and copier service to the probation offices inside of Wayne County.
Okay. And this is, how long is this contract? Okay. So that's, okay, so this is extending. Does anyone have any questions about any for our? Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. We have a motion from Commissioner Clean and second from Commissioner Garza. Please vote. Get on your tablets.
Motion carried.
Thank you. And now we'll move to the addenda.
Moving to the addenda, item 5, requesting commission approval of a 4-year collective bargaining agreement with ASME Michigan.
Hello. Good afternoon. If you all could please introduce yourself. We got the, yes.
Janelle Allen, Chief Operating Officer with the County Executive's Office. Donna Wilson, PHR Director.
Good morning, Andrew Kandrivas, Director of Department of Public Services.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining
Good.
us.
All right. Don't go red.
So this is an approval of a 4-year contract that you've been working on. Can you want to just do some highlights of what has been going on, please?
Yes, and actually I'll begin because I really want to highlight the process that we followed, which was very different than the traditional collective bargaining. I know you've heard me say at other meetings that we use what we call a collaborative bargaining process. And I am concerned that word collaboration is so overused, it's going to get banned by the end of the year. However, they really are reflective of the process that we follow in developing this agreement. We came together with our union leaders, and this in particular agreement is for the AFSCME supervisors, which actually all work at our Department of Public Services. And what we realize is that we have one shared goal. It's one Wayne County, that we want to be an employer of choice for our staff, where our staff feel valued, respected, but we also want to focus on operational excellence. So instead of taking the traditional approach of what I call bartering, one side comes in, what I say, trying to get as much as possible to get a deal. The other side tries to give as little as possible to get a deal. We really took a different approach and focused on what are the issues and then collaborating on what are the solutions. And we know that the issues, one particular area is all about compensation and benefits. And we took an approach that we call right sizing. We actually broke off into different work groups, and we had staff from all areas in the department at all levels. This was just not let's say a core group bargaining group, even though it was a very inclusive, not exclusive process. There were no sides. There was no labor versus management. There were no teams, no titles in the room. It was all about focusing on what do we need to do to make Wayne County an employer of choice and to provide an excellent level of services for our constituents. So with regard to the compensation, we also said, as the largest county, the most complex, the most voluminous, diverse, we need to pay market wages. We should be leading the pack when it comes to our competitors. We like to say we don't have comparables because we are the largest county, but we clearly do have competitors. We know other counties, other municipalities. So we focus on the market. But to start that, we said, let's follow a process we're calling right sizing. Right sizing, not the traditional way thinking about eliminating jobs. We started out with whatever positions are budgeted, we're going to assume we need those. Phase 2 will be how many we need. It was focusing on what are the right jobs. We realized that a number of our job descriptions have not been updated. They did not reflect the work that actually needs to be done, that it is being done today. So we focused on the right jobs. Then we have to get the right talent. So our job descriptions need to reflect what qualifications, credentials, experience is needed. We also built in something new, what we're calling career pathing and career progression. We know that not everyone is cut out to be a manager. Also, you don't need everyone to be a manager, but we want our technicians to stay, if they want to stay as a technician, to grow and to be respected and recognized and paid at a level of their experience. So we built in what we call career progression, where you can move up to a different classification, a new classification, a new level, a new pay without there being a vacancy. We're calling that reclassification. For example, we have over at in our roads division, we have public service maintenance workers. These are staff who do our snow and ice, our landscaping. You come in the door as a PSMW-B. You do not have a CDL. As a PSMW-B, as in boy. And that's because we're going to build our talent. We need all of our PSMWs to have a CDL license. So you get 6 months to get your license. At that 6-month interval, you get your license, you'll automatically become a PSMW A1. And your salary in our new, what we're proposal, will go from $19 an hour to $25 an hour when you get your CDL. Yes.
Excuse me, would you have a question? Yeah.
Oh, that's not substantial. Okay. Yes, and you know what, I'm sorry, I do need to clarify that because what I'm discussing you is actually about our non-supervisors, but we actually had them in the room when I talked about career path and career progression. So this contract is about the supervisors, but we said, looking at our supervisors, we could set salaries there, but we had to make sure that the feeder position salaries align with the supervisors. And thank you, Donna, for that, because this was all one big collaboration, and so that is a separate agreement.
Okay, thank
But
you. I'm just going
I'm
to
glad
interrupt.
to-
So you were just speaking about non-supervisors at a time, and we're not going to go down
That's
that
not where that
conversation,
contract is
right?
not
So
before you.
Commissioner Clark Coleman, we're just talking about supervisors right now. So,
We're
but I
talking
see
about
how you're
career
building.
pathing.
But can you maybe give us some bullet points about how you're doing this later?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, and I definitely
because-
can do that.
Yeah.
And so for this agreement, though, I wanted to let you know that when we looked at the market wages for the supervisors, we did look at the feeder positions to make sure if you go in supervision, your salary aligns at that supervisory rate. And right now we have situations where someone who is not a supervisor actually can make more than a supervisor, or it's so close, it's not incentivizing someone to become a supervisor. So that's why I was raising that issue. So we mapped out all of these career paths to make sure when you come into the supervisory range, we have, again, the right skill set, but also the right salary that's aligned with being a manager. When we come back with you, hopefully soon with the non-subs, we'll get into those other details. And
That's-
thank you, Donna. And that's what I could say, because we did this all, what we call cross collaborative, that we actually had the non-supervisor in the room when we were discussing the salaries.
Thank you. So
Okay.
that does make sense. I see how you're trying to do a best practice when you're looking at things. But in the future, if you do come back to us with the non and you have all these different, if you could provide that to us so that we
Absolutely.
can look at it ahead of time. So we have all those little acronyms that
Okay.
you're saying. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
So
The other
Go
thing
ahead.
in this group, so we have the career progression, but we also have what we're building, and we said that to manage, to be able to manage performance, we have to measure it. So we have to build in performance evaluations. And that's something that we have a global group that is representatives from all of our different bargaining groups, as well as all the elected officers are participating, all the departments, to talk about how do we start measuring employee performances. And coming out of that will be a template that everyone will follow. We want to make sure that the process is as objective as possible because there's a lot of concerns about employees being evaluated fairly. And so again, there's a lot of collaboration across the county on how this will be done. This agreement actually includes some increases, part of increases tied to performance. So in the agreement, first of all salaries are being increased. The range is anywhere from 5%, believe it or not, to over 40%. Because one size doesn't fit all. And in the past, when increases were implemented, it would be a certain percentage that everyone received. And we wanted to make sure that we close the disparity. And we also said that when we looked at market salaries, everyone should get something. So some employees, their increase may have been just like 2%, or they were already at market. We did agree upon that everyone would get at least 5% increase. So that's why the range is from 5 up to. The other salaries members are really tied to the market. And the agreement actually does have included in there all the classifications that are included. And I believe it does have the new minimum salaries.
These are for supervisors.
These are for the ASME supervisors. And also, so with regard to, so everyone now would go to the new minimum or 5%. That is not based on performance. We said we have got to get to market based on where we are today. Going forward is where the performance evaluations will come into play. Into play with regard to employees being able to get a potential bonus on the top of a annual increase. The first year, starting October 1st, so staff did receive a 2.5% increase across the board on October 1st of 23 for this fiscal year. This agreement includes another 2.5% increase on October 1st of this year, but that also will start the first formal evaluation period. But that period will not apply until the next year, October 1st of 26. That year, everyone will get 1.5% across the board. So you just get it, what I like to joke for breathing, not tied to performance, but you can get an additional bonus if you receive at least satisfactory or above. The other thing I'd like to highlight is in the performance eval process, if someone gets less than satisfactory, they have to be given very specific feedback about why they're not meeting the minimum qualifications or meeting the expectations, and given a plan about what does it take to get there. And there will be regular reviews throughout the year, so no one is surprised at the end of the year if they get something less than satisfactory. We've also talked about a 4-point scale, that it would be unsatisfactory, needs improvement, satisfactory, or exceeds expectations. You would even get a bonus if you need improvement, because we want to show our staff, we want you to get better. We don't want you to leave. We need our staff to perform well. Of course, though, the higher your rating, the greater your bonus will be, and that's all outlined in the agreement.
Which was provided to us and in our packet. Thank you. Okay.
And so I think those are key, how there are other changes that have been incorporated, because in our discussions, we also focused on operational things. Some of those things did not actually get into the CBA because they weren't bargaining topics, but we put everything on the table about what do we need to operate at the best. And so there really wasn't anything off limits in our discussions. It's just what actually needed to be in the CBA based upon bargaining rules versus things that we're incorporating in our day-to-day operations.
Thank you very much for all of that. I'm just going to stop at this time to ask if the commissioners have any questions for Commissioner Clark-Coleman.
Okay, so I noticed you said base salary. What is the base salary?
So minimum, what I'm calling the minimum salaries. So they vary depending on the classification.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna come back and ask you, because I also need to know what the base salary is for the regular people that are coming in, like the roads, the laborers and things like that. I don't know what they call them. But I also want to know the starting salary.
Yes, okay.
And we can always provide you, this is Donna Wilson, the commission, the pay plan and a salary report is just not part of the collective bargaining.
Right now.
Right.
Yes.
But you're working on.
For the non-supervisors.
You're negotiating with the non-supervisory?
Yes.
You are doing that right now?
Yes.
We're doing it with all of our other unions that haven't come before you yet, that also including GAA and the Michigan Building Construction Trade Council.
Well, I know that we're trying to recruit people, and when I go out, I'm always telling them that we've got openings in every department. But when they ask me, laborer or whatever they call, they ask me what's the starting salary. I think it's $15 an hour, but I'm not sure.
Understood. And we can get you that. That $15 is now our new minimum salary for our most entry-level position. But they really do vary on the classifications. Donna said we can get you that schedule.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Director Kandri-Drivas, do you want to add anything from your department?
Thank you
and
very much,
how-
Madam Chair. It's a pleasure to be here. I don't think I've been in GovOps for quite a long time, so it's great to be
Good
here.
to see you.
This is a great day. We're really, on behalf of the department and on the management side, especially, we're very happy to have this in front of you. This has been ratified, and I had to chuckle a little bit when COO was mentioning this. This wasn't, workers versus management, because a lot of days it was worker versus worker and management versus management and different levels of management versus management. It really was a fully collaborative process that took a lot of time out of everybody's schedules. We've had great buy-in from all of our divisions that are affected by this. If you look at the letter that you received, just the number of openings that we have it's stunning, the number of openings. And so all of this is done not only as an acknowledgement of the good work that so many of our people do and deserve more for the work they do, but also as a realization that we need to compete on a much higher level. So I'm very happy to have this in front of you, and look forward to your support of this and all of our members in filling up a lot of these vacant slots.
Yes, I did notice that we had quite a few when I was reading through my paperwork. So yes, I think that we're doing a great job. Wayne County needs to keep the people that we have here and support them, and we need to move forward. So that's great. Commissioner Kleen, you have a question?
Or two. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Only two.
Oh, I appreciate that. You alluded to it, Madam COO. How many locals are outstanding now that have not come to? Because this isn't all the ASME locals.
No, we have, so this is 3 locals for supervisors. There are, is it 3 or 4 for our AFSME non-supervisors,
Yeah.
which is 1, 2, 4
1368.
locals.
Was that, I can't remember the exact number of the
No, local 25, local 409, 1659, and 101. Those are locals, non-supervisors. And then we have GAA General Fund, GAA Nurses, and the Michigan Building Construction Trades Council.
Okay, and those are the outstanding.
Yes.
Yeah, because the 4-digit ASME, that's where we have people.
1659, actually, they represent the largest number of our staff. We actually have about 1,200 of our positions in local 1650. Actually, it's ASME non-supervisors. Local 1659, I believe, does have the largest number.
Yeah, and that, if it's 1,200, that's approaching 40% of our current
Yes.
workforce. And I was going to ask Director Kandribas, I know that you have road engineers out there, right? That need licenses, first class, second class. And I know that's been an issue in the past with our wages, to be able to hire folks to that. Has that been part of this discussion or any other discussion? Where are we at with our road engineers?
Yes, so Commissioner Kleen through the chair, 2926, which is encapsulated here as well. That is the engineering union, if you will.
Okay.
But we actually have had better luck in those contracts previous to this. That contract was maybe a little bit better suited to actually bumping up compensation and attracting more workers that the view on this commission have already approved in the past.
Mhm.
Obviously, we reopened all that as well and tried to make it even better to attract more professional engineers. And I think that's what
Yeah.
you're alluding to. You can hire an engineer, but you really wanted them to get to that PE level, that professional engineering level.
Oh, absolutely. And
So
that-
yes,
and
we have
we have to
enticements in
fill
this.
those jobs. We have to have people qualified at a certain level.
Yep.
Passing exams and whatnot.
And those engineers are housed in both the division of roads maintenance as well as our engineering division.
Okay, so
And that
at
was a
least through
group, if
this,
I
the
may add.
engineers have been spoken to.
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, career progression was really focused in engineers as well in this, the ASME supervisors.
Mhm.
Whereas you're saying that Andy said that our entry level really got a big bump a while ago, and it really highlighted that it was the next level, which is Journey, that was where we had the biggest bump, where we needed that. We also built in another level where if you have your professional engineer's license and we don't have an opening yet for actually that level position, you can still get compensated for that at the lower level. So we have 2 levels of Journey now, one where you have started the process to obtain your license, the others you fully obtained it, you will get an additional premium, if you will, for having your license at that level.
And if I can just ask this, so that situation's improved over the last 3 years in terms of the skills and the number of people. And see, I always assumed we were short in that area. That would slow down our ability to complete road projects. Would have been accurate a few years ago?
I would say this, the most accurate is what we can't do in-house because we don't have the staff. We have to then turn to other professional
and
organizations
spend
to
big
do
money.
that. Yeah, and obviously there's a profit margin that we
Right.
lose when we do that. So
Right.
the goal is always to beef up our internal staff, to still have to go outside of Wayne County and work with some of our partners in the private side when needed. But the goal is really to beef up our own ranks.
Exactly. And we absolutely expect our external sourcing to decrease as our internal staffing increases.
And that would be great to report on from time to time to the commission, right?
Yes.
Outsourcing being an issue for at least this commissioner so I think it'd be good to advise on a somewhat regular basis, the commission in terms of outsourcing and how this stuff is impacting that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
As we
Thank you,
fill
Madam
those
Chair.
vacancies, that would be nice to
Yes.
hear. Thank you, Commissioner Kleen. And Commissioner Clark Coleman, you had a
Yeah.
question?
I want to back up initially. Janelle, you mentioned that, and that these supervisors, are being right-sized. And so a laborer, whatever they call them, I don't know what they call them, into a supervisory. So are you pulling from your internal staff?
Absolutely.
When you are elevating, when you're bringing in these supervisors? These
Absolutely.
supervisors are coming from
Yes,
your current
they're
staff.
promoting up. Yes, they're coming from internal.
They're not being recruited from outside at a supervisory level, right?
No, so it depends on the supervisor, but most of the career pathing from the maintenance is through the PSMW, the public, I was going
And what does that mean?
I was gonna use the internal, you're saying for functional opportunity.
Yes.
and there is.
SMW.
Right.
mean?
I was gonna.
Public service maintenance worker.
Oh, okay.
That
That's
is,
what they're called?
That's what we
Yes.
call them. Yeah.
So
Is that entry?
Well, yes and no. There is a lower classification of a laborer, and that is somebody that does not have their commercial driver's license. But the PSMW level is the level that does have a commercial driver's license.
Okay, so you just opened up another question that I had. Is there anything that you guys do to assist them in getting what is it called? The,
Yes,
C-
CDL.
CDL, commercial driver's license, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Just
CDL.
recently, we really tried to implement that where we created a B level, if you will. So somebody will come in and COO referenced this earlier. They come in as a PSMW B, we call them.
Mhm.
They have 6 months in order to get their commercial driver's license. Not only do they get 6 months, but we train them internally. We have a training component within roads maintenance. We have a person that gets them behind the wheel, pulls them off their other duties, and they're able to train and helps them with what the test is going to look like. And then they're able to do that. And we've graduated quite a few folks from the PSMW B ranks into the full-fledged PSMW with a full CDL. So yes, that is something that we've implemented in the last 2 years or so. It wasn't something that was previously done, and we really see the value in that. So we try to bake it into more of the career progression.
So they're being trained right on site.
Yes, correct.
And then when they get that license, do they get a bump?
Yes, correct. They do get a bump.
They get a bump and they get a different classification?
Yes, PSMW-A from the B.
Okay. PSMW-A.
And
rather
just to
than B.
clarify, as I believe the chairwoman clear, that is still being negotiated, but that contract will be coming to you with all those formal details. They are not in this bargaining group.
I'm looking forward to that one.
yes, perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciated you coming and telling us that because I think that that's where our people that come to Wayne County, they want to stay
Yeah.
and they want to see where they can go
Right.
here. Like you're saying, one Wayne County, we want them to stay here. So with this reclassification and career progression, we will look forward to hearing what's going on with our non-supervisors. This is on our supervisors. We have a motion by Commissioner Clean and a second by Commissioner Garza. If we have no more discussion, we're going to take a vote. Okay, all right.
Motion carried.
Thank
Oh,
you.
sorry, guys. It didn't show up on my screen. Thank you so much for coming in and telling us about that. Madam Clerk,
F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
there are none. Moving on to public comment, please. Is there anyone in the audience on Zoom or the telephone that would like to make public comment at this time?
There are 2 hands raised on Zoom. The first one I saw was Ms. Buffington.
We'll find out if they're pleased.
Are you there?
Yes.
Please go right
I was
ahead.
waiting for you all to say it was okay to speak. I'm Ms. Buffington of Local 1659, and I would like to indicate to the commissioners, I'm being a good girl, and Janelle Allen and Miss Wilson, they are coming to the table forthright, and the union is very pleased at our talks thus far, and I hope to come back with 1659 with good news when it's time for our contract. Thank you.
Thank you so much for making that comment. I really appreciate it. Is there another hand?
There's a phone number in the chat,
Uh,
415.
415, could you please make your comment? Let me see this. There's someone on the phone that would like to make a public comment for government ops. If you could please do that at this time. Maybe you're muted. If you could unmute. Madam Chair or Madam Clerk, are they still there?
Can you hear me?
Oh, now we can. Hi, can you please state
Okay,
your
thank
name?
you. Yolanda Shepherd, President of Local 1862, one of the supervisory units that you just approved the contract for. And I just want to say we certainly appreciate that. We've been at this for 9 months when our CEO established the effort of collaboration back in May. We stuck with it. We faced challenges. We've overcome obstacles, of course, with different personalities, different thoughts, but being led by Miss Allen and Miss Wilson, Richard Johnson, who is our staff rep, and the many union individuals involved, we kept going. And this was truly a collaborative effort. And I don't want to leave out Mr. Candrivas, because without him, we could not have, spent all this time working together. So I want to just say thanks to all involved. We exemplified a true and incredible example of collaboration, teamwork, and not giving up. So thank you.
Thank you very much for those comments. Really appreciate. We're very proud of the work that all of you guys have done, and we really want to support our supervisors. Commissioner Clark Coleman, did you want to ask a question of Ms. Shepherd?
Well, maybe I can just ask to them. So I guess it was approved by
Yes, it was ratified on 3/13/2024 and then signed, I think, by personnel on 3/25. Yes, I believe it was. If they.
Janelle Allen, again, my understanding is it was ratified by over 80% of the members.
Okay, 80%. Very good. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you very much for that comment, and moving on to adjournment. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.